first, it's been a busy week for the housing market. President Bush signed a massive housing bill into law. We saw record home price declines and a government program struggling to keep up with record foreclosures. What does it all mean to you? Let's put it into perspective. Jean Sahadi is a senior writer with CNN Money and covers the housing market. Mort Zuckerman is editor-in-chief of U.S. News and World Report and has been following the housing bill closely and is also something of a real estate mogul himself. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Jean, let's start with that housing bill and talk about one of the elements so important. That's up to $300 billion to backstop some of these loans that are in so much trouble. Of course, it takes lenders willing to agree to participate. Will they?
The program is completely voluntary. So, you know, the borrowers who are in trouble at risk of losing their homes are reliant on their lenders to say, hey, this is a good deal for me. And what they're going to be doing is making a business decision. They have to pay fees to the FHA to join the program, and they have to agree to write homes down to below appraised value in order for the government to say, we'll give this new borrower, an at-risk borrower, a 30-year fixed-rate loan.
And when does it go into effect?
It goes into effect on October 1, but the mechanics of how it's going to work are still a little bit unclear. My colleague Les Christie at CNNMoney.com talked to a lot of lenders this week and said, hey, are you going to participate? And their answer was, we need to see the final legislation. We really need to think about this. We need to know how it works. So it's not clear yet.
So we don't know. Big answer, we don't know.
Right.
You've been something of a critic of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, and of course you've been writing a lot about the topic of backstopping them with an unlimited credit supply. Why should we do that if they don't work well to begin with?
Well, we have no choice at this point but to try and preserve them. It's $5.5 trillion in mortgages, which they are the holder of guaranteed. And if the implicit federal guarantee was not made explicit, this entire mortgage market would have collapsed, and banks which all over the country and all over the world, indeed, which own Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae paper, would have found themselves literally in a desperate shape. So it was a systemic risk to the financial system. In that sense, we had to save it. But there are a lot of problems with the bill, including, just to refer to what was just said and accurately, the real question in that whole issue is, how do you do the appraisals? What's happened in the past is these appraisals have been inflated so that the banks can get more money or the borrowers can get more money. And if you have that again, you'll just have another rip-off of the financial system. So there has to be a very careful way of regulating the way these appraisals are made, because you are now making appraisals in a falling house market, so you don't know what the value is. In 15 months or 12 months, if house prices drop 15%, which is what it's expected, all of these mortgages as well could be underwater. So the federal government would have, yes, yet again. And even worse than that, the whole Freddie and Fannie Mae system is a disgrace. I mean, when Bear Stearns went bankrupt, you remember that, the Wall Street firm?
And we backstopped them as well.
Well, we did, but they had a leverage of only 32 to 1, only 32 to 1. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have a leverage of 65 to 1. Right. They never would have been able to do that if it weren't for the implicit federal guarantee, but they ran that company, or those two companies, as private companies with all the benefits to the shareholders, and the management and the shareholders made millions and millions of dollars, and in the end, the losses came due and it was put on the door of the public.
Let's go back to something that you mentioned just a minute ago, and that's where housing prices are going. We had some numbers just this week about some of these prices and some of these markets coming down 25% year over year right now, not 6 months from now. Tell me, when is this going to recover? Can it recover? Will this bill help?
Well, the bill will help only slightly. The estimate is that they will perhaps save 400,000 to 500,000 homeowners over the next several years. In that period of time, we're going to have another 2 to 3 million homes that are going to be foreclosed. We're foreclosing homes at the rate of 500,000 a quarter right now, and it's going up. And home prices are continuing to go down, and they're going to go down quite considerably, because even the numbers you see overstate the home prices because they don't take into account what are called sales incentives. So that if you get somebody who says, you buy this home and I'll pay for your lawn, I'll pay for your living room, I'll pay for the rugs, that doesn't show up in the price. The price is higher than it would otherwise be, so the real price is lower. Now, what's going to happen? As prices go down, there are going to be many more millions of mortgages where the mortgage exceeds the value of the home. So the plummeting house price condition, which has not happened since the 1930s, it's the first time in over 70 years, that is still the ongoing fundamental structural problem in our economy, and nobody knows where the bottom is, and anybody who tells you they know where the bottom is doesn't know what they're talking about.
All right, sobering point there. Jean, tell me, is there any reason for optimism?
Well, in terms of the housing program that they're implementing, if in fact home prices do fall below the appraised value that they get borrowers into the 30-year fixed rate mortgage from, it's supposed to be an affordable mortgage for those homeowners, so it doesn't necessarily mean everybody's going to run out of their house and leave it at the doorstep of the government. It's a risk, but I mean, most people want to stay in their homes, and if it's made affordable for them, they're more likely to, I think.
Oh, I agree. The people who benefit from this program will be the ones who are saved. My point is that there are a lot of people who can't benefit from it, who will not benefit from it. The most, they say this will help 400,000 to 500,000 people in their homes. It's something, but it's nowhere close to the size of the problem.
Right.
Now, the real problem now is on two levels. One is we have to save Fannie and Freddie because we simply cannot afford a financial catastrophe of that size. But even if you do, are you going to be able to permit them? They now provide 75% of the home mortgages in this country today. If they not only have to be saved from their losses, they have to have enough money to continue lending.
Right.
And if they can't continue lending at the rate they are, it's going to be a longer time before we come out of the current declines that we are in.
Great conversation from both of you and impassioned on both sides. Thanks to both of you.
Thanks.